The following program contains scenes of violence, mature subject matter, and substandard acting. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm Mike Arsenault and welcome to Urban Self-Defense, the only show that discusses how you can take an active role in your own personal safety. We'll follow Jason Carter from Usafe Solutions through typical everyday situations to see how you can effectively deal with violence, aggression, and harassment. In this episode, Jason starts his day off by waiting for the bus. Hey Jason, you been here long?
A few minutes, just waiting for the bus.
Jason, you read any good books lately or anything?
Actually, yeah, I'm in the middle of a really good one right now, actually. It's 60 feet 6 inches.
Is that the baseball?
Yeah, actually it was wrote by more or less a retired pitcher.
Really? That sounds pretty interesting. What's it about? Like minor league baseball and kind of the trials and tribulations of chasing down your dream?
More or less, yeah. That's
Really?
Interesting.
I gotta take this call, bud.
Hey, what you playing? Ah, cool. Hey, do you think you can show me how to play that? Maybe over here? Cool.
Everything okay here?
Yeah, I'm just taking my son home.
No, you're not.
Hey, mind your own business.
Hey, bud, go your dad.
Yeah, I'm just taking my son home.
No, you're not.
Jason, what happened?
Oh, well, I was just standing here, waiting for the bus. And I was watching that little fella play his video game there, and he was walking through the crowd. And I saw this big guy. I almost tried to walk away with him.
The guy behind us in line?
Yeah.
So what happened? You just tried to pull him away?
Well, I was watching the little fella, 'cause I'm just looking around and everything, and yeah, I don't know what he said to him, but I watched him put his hand on his back and actually started escorting him away.
And so what did you do? You just followed him?
Well, I walked up because I knew that obviously his father was over here on a phone, and I asked, I said, is this everything all right? And the gentleman said, yeah, it's my son, and I knew it wasn't.
Because we saw him earlier.
Exactly, so I did what I could to get the little fella out of there.
So what did you do? So he had his hand on the kid's shoulder, and then you took his hand off?
Well, he was kind of directing him, and what I did is I walked up, because first I had to get the hand off the little fella. So I struck him in a nerve in the side of his arm, which causes your hand to go all tingly, so you lose that grip. So that was the first thing I needed to do, was to remove that hand off the child. And then once I was able to start redirecting the little fella out of the way.
And that's going to be the most important thing, because you don't want to engage someone in a fight with a kid in the way you could get hurt, right? So you want to make sure you put that distance between yourself, the attacker, and the kid.
Exactly. And I'm lucky, I was able to redirect him off to my side and then back behind me, putting myself between the child and the attacker.
So aren't you concerned though, in the effort to move the kid out of the way, you're leaving yourself open to strikes from the attacker? Because he had his focus on the kid, he could put his focus on you now.
Oh, and that's the chance I gotta take, right? I would rather take that punch and know that little fella is safe than let them get away with it.
So once you had the kid out of harm's way, you sent him back to his dad, then it's you're one-on-one with him. So what did he?
Actually,
He didn't think that was it. He didn't leave, so he took a swing at you?
Yeah, he took a swing, actually threw basically like a hook punch towards my head. Basically, yeah, I blocked it, and once I was able to get that block stopped, I threw a well-placed knee strike to the groin and got rid of him.
What type of block? Like you just like a one-arm block? Was it a four-arm block? Did you put your hands up or?
A double forearm block, because he's a big gentleman. I needed to stop that force as fast as possible.
So you put both forearms
both
on?
Forearms, boom. That way the strike's here, and with my arms on a slight angle, it causes that strike to start to glance down, so I'm not taking 100% of that force into my body.
So is it a bit of a strike on your part as well? So it's a block For sure, but you're putting force into the block, so that's going to hurt his arm as well.
The goal is, again, when I made him release, I struck that nerve in his arm. And when I did my block, I actually struck the same nerve in the opposite arm now, in his forearm, and then the one in the upper arm.
So when you put that momentum into your block, that kind of puts him to the side a little bit, which allows you to kind of then pull him in close, and then that's when you use the knee strike.
Exactly, because I didn't want to stand there long with him. I had to stop that situation, get the little guy to freedom, and get rid of the attacker in this case.
No, obviously there's a good reason why you chose the groin as a knee strike, because that's going to cause a lot of pain. But were you just aiming for kind of anywhere in that vicinity? Like if you got him kind of inside the leg, would that do the same trick, do you think?
Very well. I just needed to stop that situation. I didn't think it'd go very far, especially at a bus stop, because there's more people around that hopefully would get involved, and everybody's going to see this horrible situation happening. So I just needed to stop it, and hopefully then he realized what was going on, and now he's the center of attention, and that's not the center of attention you want to be.
Oh, I mean, it definitely worked, because once you got the groin strike in, again, yeah, public place, there's people around, he would have some criminal charges he'd have to think about, so he got hit in the groin, and he just kind of put his tail between his legs and then just walked off, and luckily we were able to make sure this didn't turn into a lot more dangerous situation.
Exactly. It's a horrible situation. I'm happy we were able to stop it.
And it was great that you're here, Jason. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, you. We best get back to waiting for our bus, make sure this little guy's okay. There were 65 abductions in the City of London last year. So when traveling with children, avoid using unneeded distractions like cell phones and MP3 players if at all possible. This will help keep you safe.
Oh my God, I'm so glad we're going to the mall today, because this girl at school was like looking at my shoes and she was like, are those the shoes you're wearing today? And I was like, yeah, totally they're the shoes I'm wearing today. It's probably too late in the season to buy some boots.
Mike, thanks for coming along with this shopping trip. I don't think I could do it by myself.
OMG, Kaylin, you would look so cute in a pair of pumps.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Amazing.
Yeah, I
pumps.
was thinking that too.
Like red would be so gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, red, yes.
Hey, K-Dizzle, see those 2 graham crackers over there? Man, I'd like to give them the soft center of that s'more.
I have no idea what you just did there.
Man, watch me bounce up on this.
All right.
That's totally what I was thinking. You know, red is my color. It's totally my color. I can't even. Ew, what are you doing?
I'm just bouncing, girl. Don't you like it?
Take it easy, buddy.
Yo, back up, man. Dime, why don't you go brush your hair over there? Know what I'm saying?
Good.
Oh, yeah. You like that, don't you, man, Dime?
Okay, that's more than enough.
Hey, let my boy do his thing.
What? I'll break his arm! Right, get my daughter out of here! I'm gonna break his arm!
Hey, let my boy do his thing.
What?
K-Dizzle, you just got served.
I can't understand you. Seriously, we went over this. God.
Jason, that was an insane situation. I can honestly say I've never been accosted by a breakdancer in the middle of the street. What exactly happened there? There's so much going on. Can you kind of take us through it again?
Well, as you know, we were on our way to do some shopping, and well, those 2 gentlemen jumped out. Well, the one guy was, I don't know, trying to bust a move, and it happens pretty quick, you know, and I wasn't going to stand there for long and let this guy basically bother my daughter and yourself, because, hey, we don't deserve it. We're on our way to the store.
I couldn't really tell what was going on between you and the big guy, because I was kind of dealing with the dancer and he kind of pushed me out of the way. So what was the big guy doing? I saw he grabbed you by the wrist or something?
Yeah, right after I pushed the fellow that was dancing away, he grabbed my wrist, and I knew then it wasn't going to be good, right? I had more fear for the safety of my daughter and yourself than anything else. We had to remove ourselves from that situation.
Now, were you cognizant of both assailants? Because I mean, if you're looking like I saw you push the guy in the green out of the way, but was your eye, your perception, did you see the bigger guy there as well, or were you at the mercy of possibly like a sucker punch or a cheap shot?
Well, I didn't want to stand around long enough for that. So as soon as I got pushed to one fellow out of the way, When the other gentleman grabbed me, that's when I knew we had to do something.
Were you expecting that though? So you were aware of both opponents though?
Oh yes, yeah, I was, because again, we're walking up, and I was watching the scene, and I knew when these fellas stepped out, it wasn't going to be good.
So he grabbed your wrist. Now, how do you get out of that? What's your thought process?
Well, once he grabbed my wrist, I grabbed his arm. That would stop that tug-of-war syndrome, and he was a big man. He would probably win over a tug-of-war.
That's a good point, because I think your first instinct, if someone grabs you, you're going to try and pull away.
Exactly.
And again, he's bigger and stronger than you. He's going to win. So you need to kind of flip the tables and get yourself with the momentum and the advantage. So by doing that, so you grabbed his wrist.
Grabbed his wrist, and then I had to remove my hand from his grip. And the best way to do that is attack the weakest point of a person's grip, which is their thumb and their forefingers. So when I went to draw my hand out, I drew my thumb through those smaller digits of his hand, drawing my hand to freedom. That was the first thing, getting him from letting go of me.
So how you pulled your hand is the key then. So it wasn't trying to use brute strength.
No.
You used that knowledge that again, between the thumb and forefinger, that's a weak point. You pulled back and then tucked your hand underneath your armpit.
That's the direction of the pull. I wanted to get that hand to freedom first.
So your hand is free, but you still have hold of his wrist though?
Exactly.
Okay.
Once the hand was free, then I was able to go on with the next step, and that was to strike him, to take him off balance, to make him start to think, why am I doing this? Again,
So where did you strike him? Because we were a little busy and we tried to get away and we were already getting ourselves out of the situation. So where did you hit him?
Using my forearm, the softer tissue of my forearm, I struck more or less the side of the front to the side of the throat, again, to create a gag reflex.
Now what's the goal of that strike?
Again, to disrupt his flow of his mind and what he's thinking about.
It's gonna be pretty painful though too, I assume.
Oh, exactly. If you've ever been hit in the throat, it doesn't take much. You get that gag reflex, and there's not too much you can do when that happens. Your body says gag, and that's what I was looking for. I want him to take the upper hand quickly.
So did he go slack when you did hit him in the throat? Is that kind of where he buckled, or were you doing something with your lower half?
Well, once I executed my strike, and I knew he did such that gag reflex, I slid in and took my knee behind his knee to break his balance. Because again, I don't want him standing, he's a big fella, I didn't need him standing above me.
What location? So you put your kneecap just behind his knee, is that the idea?
Exactly, I put my kneecap more or less behind his kneecap and give a shove.
So he's in a very vulnerable spot.
Exactly, and once we had that on the way, I slid my hand down and took his arm I had control of and rested against the center of my body. So that way I was able to hyperextend his elbow across my own body and use it for control.
So if you kept pulling, what would happen?
I could have broke his arm. And in this case, I wanted to use that as a tool to make sure his friend did not get involved. And that way it could get you two to safety. And I don't know if you heard me, I was yelling at his friend, I will break his arm. And I would have if I had to, didn't want to. But I was hoping his friend would go, whoa, and then that would break the scene right away and give you guys time to get out of there.
And that's a great technique to neutralize the other guy. So if he took a step towards you, you're breaking that arm. So he didn't, he got out of there, you let the big guy go, and we were able to get to safety.
Exactly.
Well, it was a great job, Jason. Thank you very much. And now we can get shopping.
Yes, let's go. Oh, I can't believe we're done. I can't believe it took 3 hours to find shoes. Mike?
Jason, that's the price of being a man, Dime.
Here, I want to take that stuff. You guys jump in. I'll throw this in the bag.
Thank you.
Hey, what do you got inside there?
What? Nothing. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, well, give me your keys then.
Oh, wait.
Hey, what do you got inside there?
What? Nothing.
Yeah, well, give me your keys then.
Are you okay? Holy cow.
Jason, did anything happen to my shoes?
Your shoes are safe, Mike.
Okay, what happened?
Well, I was putting the stuff in the trunk there, and suddenly I heard this voice over my shoulder, what's in the bags? So I just quickly, slammed the trunk shut and turned around and said, told him nothing, And he said, well, then I'll take your keys.
Why did you do that? Why did you shut the trunk after you heard him speak to you?
Well, I wanted to get the trunk shut because I know I couldn't drive away very fast with my trunk open. And I didn't want him jumping in the back of the vehicle. So I wanted to get that closed and basically close down the vehicle so you people are safe in the vehicle.
So that's a good point of advice. Before you want to engage whatever he's thinking, because you don't know at that point.
Exactly.
You want to make sure that trunk is shut.
Oh, because if he said, looked at me and said, I'll take your keys then. So now I'm afraid that, I have 2 people in the vehicle and he wants to take the vehicle. So if the vehicle's closed down, it's a lot tougher for him to get in there.
So he reached for your wrist or for the keys or what?
Yeah, he was reaching out for what I told him I had nothing in the, nothing in the bags. He said, well, then I'll take your keys then. So he reached out to grab basically my hand, my keys. So I more or less kind of sidestepped and I grabbed a hold of his wrist.
So he never actually made it to your hand?
No, I wasn't gonna give him that chance.
So now why not do a block? Why did you grab his wrist?
Well, I wanted to get a control of him because if I just blocked him, then I could be dealing with more punches and more strikes, a barrage of things. If I got a hold of him, now I quickly can have a quick upper hand.
So you grabbed a hold of him, did you pull him towards you?
Nope, I just grabbed a hold of him, and from there I used my keys as a tool of self-defense and swung him to strike him across the face. Because, keys are handy, it was the quickest thing in my hand.
So now you use them as more like the keys would slap him, or are they actually going to act as like a
whip.
blade? Okay.
Basically like a whip. Basically slashing across the face with them. Trying to basically disorient him, basically stun him and take the upper hand.
So it's not really going to cause great irreparable damage doing that with the keys, just more going to be, again, a shock of getting hit by the face by the...
If you get him in the eyes, it will hurt. It's like anything in the eyes.
Yeah.
But, at this point, I was more concerned about, not just my own safety, but your safety.
So when you're swinging the keys at him like a whip, are you still holding onto his wrist?
Oh yeah, I wanted control of him because if I just started swinging the keys, he could step back, walk away from my strike, and then I'm dealing again with this big aggressive person and nowhere to go.
But he is bigger than you, so you're hitting him in the face with the keys, he is going to be kind of jerking to try and get away from the keys. So how do you maintain your balance and not let him pull you around?
The biggest thing is, in that position, after I did my sidestep, you try to stay in a more what I would call a rooted position. I like to tell people...
So kind of knees bent, athletic position?
Yeah, exactly.
Shoulder width apart?
Shoulder width apart, but roughly about 1 shoulder width long. Bend your knees slightly, exactly that. That's like position. Now I can sink my center of balance. I have more rooted in this position. I can create, if he starts to tug, well, I can resist a little bit.
So after you whipped him in the face with the keys, then what happened?
Well, I whipped him in the face with the keys, then I just grabbed his shoulder, and from there, a quick, well-placed, basically, kick to the groin.
The same shoulder that...
The arm was holding.
The same wrist? Okay. And then you just pulled them towards you and then...
Pulled them towards and threw a quick kick in there.
Oh, kick to the groin.
Kick to the groin.
Obviously that got him away. And
yeah,
then
because after that, I want to get in my vehicle fast as I can, keep it locked down. And once you're in your vehicle and it's locked down, I can either drive away, obviously call law enforcement, do what I have to do. Because once we're inside and it's locked down, much safer place to be.
Great, well thanks again, Jason. Let's get home before we have any more trouble.
Exactly. Did you know in the last 50 years, violent crime in Canada has tripled? Exercising urban awareness, like staying aware of your surroundings, will help keep you safe.
Jason, we've had a crazy day. Let's go through it. Started at the bus stop this morning. I'm not really sure what was going on there with that guy trying to take that kid. That was crazy. So what should parents maybe be aware of so something like that wouldn't happen to their child?
The first thing I try to tell all parents is street smarts. Teach your kids some simple street smarts. Things like if someone approaches you and wants to talk to you, the first thing they need to do is step back, never towards a person, right? Make that safety space, right? And again, since he was wandering around, keep your eye on it. I understand, the father got busy, the phone rang, but those are those cases where if you draw your attention away, things can happen.
And you maybe want to teach the kid to not have his head buried in the video game, right? Because if he was up kind of looking around, he would be more aware and cognizant of his surroundings.
Exactly. That's just general street smarts. And there's lots of other things you can do to help keep your children safe. One firm thing I try to teach people and tell people is name-free clothing. I come from a small hockey town. A lot of people, their kids join hockey or sports.
You want their names on the jersey.
Exactly,
right?
And I tell people don't. Because as soon as you put that name on that piece of clothing, someone can walk up to them and say, hey, so-and-so, your daddy sent me. right?
And the kid's not going to know any better, so he'll
Exactly.
go with the person.
And I tell parents, if you're afraid that they're going to lose that piece of clothing, put the name on the inside of the clothing, not the outside of the clothing, which is really, really important.
So then we moved on to our shopping excursion, but before we even got there, we were accosted by, I don't even know what we're going to call them, but two dancers, I guess, who came up to us just on the street with your daughter.
And in those cases, first thing, urban mindfulness, know your surroundings, right? Keep your head up, keep looking around. You were doing a lot of chit chat with my daughter. I was trying to, I was listening, but tell you the truth, I was doing probably more looking around than anything else. Keeping my eye on things. And if you ever get caught in those situations and there is multiple people, take control of that situation. In that case, the biggest fella I got a hold of and I put him in pain. And that was the whole goal. If he's in pain, hopefully you can use that as a negotiating tool so the rest of you, could get to freedom.
So what are some tips? Because that's a really intimidating situation. You have two people to worry about, not just one.
Exactly.
So what should people maybe be aware of?
Don't get yourself caught between two people as the first thing. I keep trying to make sure when I shoved that one gentleman away, I had space now to deal with the other gentleman. Because if you get yourself caught between two people, nothing as good is going to happen from that.
So instead of worrying about, okay, I have two people I have to deal with, try and extricate yourself from one situation and then deal with the second one.
Exactly. It's easier to deal with one at a time than being caught in the middle of a flurry. So again, if you can get control of that first person, and if you have to, hate to say it, use them as a bargaining tool for your safety.
Now, then we move to the parking lots. Now, parking lots can be a dangerous place, so I'm sure there's a lot of things people need to be aware of when they're approaching their car, because you might not be paying attention and just kind of mindlessly throwing your stuff into the trunk.
Exactly.
So what should you do there?
It actually starts even before you even go into the shopping center or to that store. I like to tell people, try to park as close as you can to your entrance door. I don't care if you have to drive around the mall 4 times to find that perfect spot. Park close to the entrance, and then also try to park under a light stand, because we can all go out, we can all get shopping, and next thing you know, time gets away from us. Like today, we get out, we're lucky it was still light, but you could come out and it could be dark, and next thing you know, you've parked way back at the J section, and you got to walk across a very dark parking lot, which is bad. Once you've done all that, you've done your shopping, you've had your fun of your day, when you're leaving, before you leave that mall, get ready to go to your vehicle, meaning get your keys out. Have your keys out in hand prior to leaving the mall.
So don't be standing in your car fumbling or in your pockets. Where are they? Are they in my purse? Pocket? Where are they?
Because at that point, you're no longer paying attention of your surroundings, right? You're looking, you're digging, you're trying to find where did I put my keys, and that is when typically people get accosted. That's when people come up on you.
Is there anything else? Maybe last idea, parking lot safety. What's one little nugget of information people should remember?
Like I said, for a quick recap, park close, park with lots of light. Go have your fun, do your shopping, but be mindful. When you leave that mall, you are leaving with goods, and there's people out there that might want your goods.
Awesome, great. Thanks a lot, Jason. Been a crazy day. Maybe let's go for a pop or two. And you know what? Maybe we can try some of that guy's dance moves at the club tonight, like just kind of like the little bounce.
You can.
How's it going?
What are you doing?
Just bouncing, girl. Don't you like?
Hey, get away from me.
I look at Mike, he's laughing, and I just thought, what the hell is going on here? I'd be hitting this guy by now.
Is it looking all right, everybody? Is it looking prime?
Go ahead.
What are you doing?
I'm just bouncing, girl. Don't you like it?
Take it easy, buddy.
Yo, back off, man. Dime, why don't you go brush your hair over there? You know what I'm saying? Oh.
Good.
Let my boy do his thing, man. You ain't going nowhere.
Stop it.
Ooh, yeah. Like that, don't you?
Hold on. Mike can't stop laughing.
You gotta calm
break
down.
his arm.
I'm just dancing, man. I'm just showing my moves. Come on.